Pentagon has committed $10.8 billion to SHOTCALLER, a network of 25 advanced weapons systems built for a Pacific conflict. These include autonomous ship hunters operating 200 miles from humans and hypersonic missiles made from drone parts. Technologies once deemed impossible. All are linked by an AI network with code names like Asgard, Lazarus, and Oculus Prime. With $9.6 billion already spent, this isn't speculative. The real challenge now is whether the United States can produce enough before the next war begins. The wake-up call. For decades, the American military protocol was defined by deserts and insurgents. This was a realm of counter-terrorism and boots on the ground, where the Pentagon's procurement system, producing a steady, predictable trickle of missiles, drones, and ammunition, was perfectly adequate. The scale of conflict was manageable. Then, the war in Ukraine served as a brutal, real-world stress test. It exposed the U.S. defense industrial base as fundamentally unprepared for the demands of high-intensity combat. This was not the war the Pentagon had built for. In Ukraine, two armies routinely fire thousands of artillery shells daily. Advanced missile systems like the Javelin and HIMARS were expended at a rate that rapidly depleted American stockpiles, revealing a startling vulnerability. The conflict demonstrated that a single, prolonged engagement could consume more ammunition than the U.S. had produced in years. The peacetime production lines, efficient for a previous era, were suddenly revealed to be dangerously anemic. Trying to resupply such a war effort was like trying to fill a swimming pool with a garden hose. This lesson from Eastern Europe merged seamlessly with the pre-existing strategic challenge in the Pacific. While the world watched Ukraine, China's People's Liberation Army was conducting its own analysis. Beijing learned that future wars are not won by technological marvels alone, but by the industrial capacity to produce them in overwhelming numbers and replace losses swiftly. This insight directly informs China's strategy, which is built on mass and volume. The convergence of these realities has created a new and powerful urgency within the Pentagon. The institution realized it was still preparing for the last war, not the next one. The traditional, glacially paced acquisition cycle, taking 10 to 15 years to field a new platform, is a fatal luxury in a potential conflict measured in weeks and months, where key munitions could be exhausted in the first few days. Consequently, the new arms race is no longer a simple contest of technological superiority. It is a race of production, logistics, and resilience. The central question has shifted from who has the best weapon to who can build, deploy, and replenish faster. This fundamental shift now underpins every major decision inside the Pentagon. The comfortable post-Cold War paradigm is over, replaced by the imperative to build a war machine capable of outproducing, out-innovating, and outlasting a peer adversary in a long, brutal fight of attrition. The message is clear: adapt the entire defense ecosystem to this new reality, or risk strategic irrelevance. Orchestrating the battlefield. The SHOTCALLER is the Pentagon's $10.8 billion master plan. It's not a single gun or missile. Instead, SHOTCALLER is the high-tech brain that connects everything. Its mission is to take all the new weapons, the hypersonic missiles, the drone swarms, the satellite networks, and make them work together as a single, unstoppable force. The money funds the development of 25 new weapon systems, but the real magic is in how they are woven together. SHOTCALLER is designed to solve a critical problem. In a modern war, there is too much information and not enough time. So, it uses artificial intelligence to process the flood of data from space, air, and sea. It can instantly identify the most urgent threat and automatically assign the perfect weapon to destroy it, all in seconds. This isn't just a theory. The program is already well underway, with over $9.6 billion spent in previous years. The recent request for $1.6 billion for 2026 shows the Pentagon is pushing the accelerator to the floor. Some of the projects have code names straight out of a spy thriller. Asgard, which suggests a godlike view of the battlefield. Lazarus, which points to resilient systems capable of recovering functionality after an attack. And Oculus Prime, implying a powerful, all-seeing eye for target identification. These aren't just for show. They hint at technologies that would seem like science fiction, from godlike surveillance to systems that can rise from the digital dead after an attack. The urgency comes from a hard truth, learned in recent military exercises. The US saw its vulnerabilities exposed in a potential clash with China. SHOTCALLER is the direct answer. It is specifically engineered for a conflict in the vast Indo-Pacific, ensuring that America can see first, decide fastest, and strike with precision from thousands of miles away. In short, SHOTCALLER is the nervous system for the future of warfare. It's the reason a satellite's sight, a drone's eye, and a missile's punch become one seamless action. It ensures that in the next major conflict, the US isn't just bringing more weapons to the fight. It's bringing a smarter, faster, and perfectly coordinated battle network. The angry tortoise. For years, the quest for hypersonic weapons, missiles that fly faster than 5 times the speed of sound, has felt like an endless, expensive marathon. The designs are incredibly complex, the tests are fraught with failure, and the price tags are astronomical. It's been a high-stakes, high-cost game where building just a few prototypes could burn through billions of dollars. But what if there was a shortcut? What if you could take a shortcut so clever and so surprisingly simple that you could name it something as bizarre as Angry Tortoise? That's exactly what the US Air Force is now doing. They've decided to stop building a hypersonic missile entirely from scratch. Instead, they're playing the ultimate game of military Lego, and the pieces they're using are already sitting on the shelf. The first piece is a rocket called the ET-2. Right now, the military uses these as practice dummies. They are aerial targets designed to mimic enemy ballistic missiles during training exercises, so our defenders can learn how to shoot them down. They are reliable, known, and already in production. The second piece is a revolutionary new rocket engine called the Draper, built by a private company named Ursa Major. Most rockets used in warfare have solid fuel, like a giant firework. They are simple and ready to go. But once you light them, that's it. You can't control the throttle. Liquid-fueled engines are more powerful and controllable, but they typically use fuels that are like toxic, explosive nightmares. They can't be stored for long and are incredibly dangerous for troops to handle. The Draper engine is different. It's a liquid engine that runs on a mix of hydrogen peroxide and kerosene, but it has a magic trick. It's stable. It can sit loaded with fuel for months, at room temperature, without corroding or becoming a bomb waiting to happen. It combines the punch and control of a liquid engine with something much closer to the safety of a solid one. This one innovation changes the entire game. So, the Air Force's brilliant cost-cutting idea: slam these two pieces together. Take the proven, affordable body of the ET-2 target drone. Now, rip off its standard rocket motor and bolt in the new, powerful and safe Draper engine. The result isn't a target anymore. You've just created a new, low-cost, experimental, hypersonic missile. This project is called the Angry Tortoise. The name perfectly captures its spirit. It might seem like a slow, plodding approach by reusing old parts, but its goal is to deliver a very fast, very angry punch. The plan is to test this hybrid missile by the end of the year. But here's the funny part about testing something built for incredible speed. You often have to hold it back. The first launch will only let the tortoise stretch its legs to about twice the speed of sound, Mach 2. Why? Because the test range at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico is only so big. If they let it go full throttle, it would fly right out of the designated safety zone and keep going. The missile is built to reach Mach 5, but for this first test, they just want to see if the two pieces work together as planned. The Angry Tortoise is more than just a missile. It's a symbol of a new mindset. It's about the Pentagon saying, "We need to be smarter and faster." By partnering with agile private companies and creatively reusing existing technology, they are building a backdoor to hypersonic capability. It's a quiet, clever, and affordable experiment that could finally help the US catch up in the race for the future of speed. The Ship Killer. The Pentagon is making a major commitment to a weapon designed for one of modern warfare's most complex tasks: finding and destroying a specific enemy warship somewhere in the vast, empty ocean, even when that enemy is using every possible method to stop it. This is the reality of the long-range anti-ship missile, or LUR-ASM, with a new order for 61 more missiles from Lockheed Martin, signaling a decisive shift from experimentation to building a reliable stockpile. In a potential conflict over the enormous stretches of the Pacific, the ability to strike an enemy fleet from a great distance is not just an advantage. It is essential for survival and maintaining geopolitical credibility. Finding and engaging a hostile fleet in this maritime expanse requires a weapon that can operate independently for vast distances. What sets the LUR-ASM apart is the advanced autonomous intelligence packed inside it, designed specifically for this contested environment. A typical missile often relies on constant guidance from an external source, a link that a sophisticated enemy can jam or sever, sending the weapon off course. The LUR-ASM is built to overcome that vulnerability, becoming the ultimate autonomous hunter. It can be launched from an aircraft over 200 miles away, programmed with a general area to search, and then left to complete its mission. The missile uses enhanced GPS to navigate, but when enemy jamming attempts to blind it, the LUR-ASM seamlessly switches to its own onboard sensors. It flies at a medium altitude, scanning the sea below, before dropping down to skim the waves just above the ocean surface. This sea-skimming flight is its primary method of stealth, hiding within the radar clutter of the waves to become nearly invisible to enemy defenses until the last possible moment. Its programming is equally sophisticated, enabling it to weave through a fleet's defensive systems, electronically confusing them while identifying its pre-designated high-value target. It is engineered to ignore lesser ships and focus on the centerpieces of a fleet, such as aircraft carriers, command ships, and guided missile cruisers. This substantial order is a clear message about the future of naval warfare. In an era where peer adversaries can project massive power with a handful of advanced warships, the US is investing in the definitive countermeasure. The LUR-ASM represents a new doctrinal reality, a weapon that can be sent on a long-distance mission into communications-degraded environments and trusted to find and complete its task entirely independently. This capability makes the open ocean a profoundly dangerous place for any adversary, restoring a critical deterrent effect and directly addressing the pacing challenge of the 21st century. The Ghost in the Sky. On September 11, 2025, The Department of the Air Force announced the arrival of the second flight test B-21 at Edwards Air Force Base, California. The B-21 is a stealth strategic bomber built to carry both conventional and nuclear payloads. The B-21 Raider is the future backbone of American air power. It's not just a new plane, it's a completely new way of thinking about what an airplane can be. At its heart, the B-21 is built for one mission: to survive in places where no other aircraft can. It's designed to slip, unseen, into the most heavily defended airspace in the world. How does it achieve this ghost-like quality? It's all in the shape and the skin. The Raider is what's known as a flying wing, a smooth, curved shape with no distinct tail or fuselage. This unique design, combined with special composite materials and radar-absorbing coatings, doesn't just make it hard to see on radar, it makes it virtually invisible. It scatters radar energy, confusing defense systems. From every angle, above, below, or the side, it presents an almost non-existent signature. It's not just hard to find, it's engineered to be impossible to lock onto. But its stealth is more than just a trick of shape. It's also built to be practical. Unlike earlier stealth planes that required hundreds of hours of maintenance between flights, the B-21 uses newer, more durable materials. Its components are modular, meaning they can be swapped out quickly. This means the Raider can fly more missions, more often. It's a ghost that doesn't need to rest. Perhaps the most revolutionary thing about the B-21 isn't its invisibility, but its brain. It's built with what's called an open systems architecture. Think of it like the operating system on your smartphone. Just as you can download new apps to make your phone more useful, the Air Force can continuously upgrade the B-21's software, sensors, and weapons. As new threats emerge, the B-21 can adapt. It won't become obsolete because its core systems are designed to evolve. This digital heart means the plane was largely designed and tested inside advanced computers long before the first physical prototype was ever built. This digital twin process allowed engineers to solve problems and run simulations in a virtual world, making the real-world testing faster and more precise. The B-21 isn't designed to be a lone wolf. It's meant to be the central node in a vast, airborne network. In the sky, it will constantly talk to satellites, other aircraft, and even naval ships. It can gather intelligence, perform surveillance, and act as a communications hub, sharing what it sees with the entire military in real time. It's not just a bomber. It's the eyes, ears, and voice of the battle network. You might wonder why it doesn't fly at supersonic speeds. The answer is simple. Stealth and range are more important than raw speed. Flying at high subsonic speeds, just under the sound barrier, allows the B-21 to travel immense distances without refueling. More importantly, it keeps the plane quiet and cool. Avoiding supersonic flight reduces its heat signature, making it harder for infrared sensors to detect. It's a silent, patient hunter, not a screaming fighter. Dark Eagle. Another formidable weapon that has taken its place in the U.S. arsenal is the Army's long-range hypersonic weapon, nicknamed Dark Eagle. It is a ground-launched missile system capable of striking targets over 1,725 miles away in a matter of minutes, reaching speeds greater than Mach 5. This isn't just an incremental upgrade, it is a fundamental shift in firepower, designed for precision strikes against hardened ground infrastructure before an enemy even knows it's coming. The secret to Dark Eagle's power lies in its two-stage design. First, a massive booster rocket propels the weapon high into the upper atmosphere. Then, the hypersonic glide body separates. This is not a simple warhead that falls to its target. It is an advanced vehicle that uses its tremendous speed to skim the edge of space, gliding and maneuvering on an unpredictable path toward its destination. This unpredictable flight path is what makes it virtually unstoppable. Traditional ballistic missiles follow a predictable arc, much like a thrown ball. Enemy radars can track that arc and calculate an intercept point. The Dark Eagle's glide body does not follow a set path. It can weave and change course, making it impossible for current defense systems to track and intercept in time. By the time it is detected, it is already too late. This capability beats China's DF-17. While the Dark Eagle is designed for long-range ground strikes with its superior speed and extended range, the DF-17 is primarily an anti-ship weapon with a shorter range of 1,553 miles and lower speed. The entire Dark Eagle system is built for survival and rapid deployment. The missile is not launched from a fixed, vulnerable silo. Instead, it is fired from a massive truck, the Transporter Erection Launcher. This allows a Dark Eagle battery to hide, launch a devastating strike from a remote location, and immediately move to a new hiding spot, evading any counterfire. This weapon is no longer just a prototype. The Army has successfully tested the complete system and has begun its deployment to specialized artillery units. The message the Dark Eagle sends is unambiguous. It places any high-value ground target within a 1,725-mile radius at immediate risk, ensuring that America can hold crucial enemy infrastructure at risk, delivering a decisive blow faster than any defense can respond. The MQ-9 Reaper. The Pentagon is building up its fleet of MQ-9A Reapers. The Reaper is built to watch for a long time, carry serious payloads, and act when needed. For commanders, that mix of endurance and punch is hard to ignore. The MQ-9A can stay in the air for more than a full day. It can cruise up to about 50,000 feet and reach nearly 240 knots. It carries roughly 3,850 pounds of payload, with about 3,000 pounds available for external stores. Compared with earlier drones, it carries far more gear and has far more engine power. That means it can fly longer, carry more sensors and weapons, and cover bigger areas without returning to base. Reliability is central to the Reaper's value. It uses a proven Honeywell turboprop engine with digital engine controls that improve fuel use and performance, especially at low heights. The flight control and avionics systems are fault-tolerant and triple redundant, built to meet standards close to those used for manned aircraft. In plain terms, the aircraft is designed to keep working even when things go wrong. Flexibility is another big strength. The MQ-9A is modular, so crews can swap sensors and payloads to match the mission. It can carry electro-optical and infrared cameras for clear day or night images, multi-mode radar for wide area searches, electronic support measures to detect signals, and laser designators to guide weapons. It can also be armed with precision missiles and bombs when a strike is needed. That makes it useful for many tasks: surveillance, maritime patrol, border security, and direct action. An extended-range variant adds wing fuel pods and reinforced landing gear, pushing endurance from roughly 27 hours to about 34 hours. More time in the sky means more chance to find fleeting targets, maintain persistent watch, and give troops the information they need when it matters. The new face of squad firepower. The Army's small arms story just turned a big page. The XM7 and XM250, the next generation of infantry weapons, are now replacing the M4 and M249 in select frontline units. This isn't a small tweak. It's a conscious move to give soldiers more range, more punch, and smarter aim against tougher foes. At the heart of the change is ammo. The XM7 fires a 6.8 by 51 mm round, that holds more energy downrange than the old 5.56mm. That means better speed, longer reach, and improved ability to defeat modern body armor. The XM250 takes the place of the M249 Squad automatic weapon, but does so while shedding weight. It keeps the rate of fire needed for suppression, but adds better recoil control and accuracy, so squads can move faster and shoot smarter. What really makes the whole package sing is the XM157 fire control system. Imagine a smart scope that does the math for you. It uses sensors, a laser rangefinder, and a ballistic computer to factor in distance, wind, and bullet drop. The result is a much higher chance of hitting on the first shot. It's the difference between firing blindly and firing with confidence. In short, augmented reality meets practical marksmanship. Why now? The battlefield has changed. Near-peer militaries are fielding tougher armor, better weapons, and more advanced tactics. Electronic warfare and new tactics are shrinking the margin for error. The U.S. needed a step change in the basic tools soldiers carry. The XM7 and XM250 answer that need. More lethal, more flexible, and built to fit into modern networks. On the user side, the rifles bring real upgrades. The XM7 has improved ergonomics, ambidextrous controls, and reduced recoil. The XM250 offers quick change barrels, better heat handling, and a lighter frame for sustained fire. Both weapons are modular, so units can add sensors or mission gear as needed. The XM157 links into wider battle networks, letting soldiers share targeting data and keep the whole unit on the same page. Training and deployment are already underway in 2025 with elite units and special forces integrating the systems. This isn't just new kit, it's a new way of fighting. The XM7 and XM250 give small units longer reach, smarter shots, and more staying power. In a fight where seconds and meters matter, those gains can change outcomes. The new Pacific chessboard. The true purpose of these weapons comes into focus in the Pacific, where China's rise is rewriting the balance of power. For decades, the United States was the unchallenged heavyweight from Hawaii to the South China Sea. That plain fact no longer holds. China has spent years building bigger ships, sharper missiles, and a far-reaching manufacturing machine that changes the math of any future fight. Taiwan is the spark everyone watches. A place Beijing calls its own, and a place whose fate could pull in the rest of the world. Washington is answering by moving its pieces. More ships sail the lanes, more jets patrol the skies, and American leaders are deepening ties with friends who fear being trapped in a war they did not choose. In Congress, lawmakers argue the United States must also change how it produces the hardware needed to back its posture. A report accompanying the House Appropriations Committee's fiscal 2026 defense bill proposed a Civil Reserve manufacturing network, a web of dual-use factories that handle commercial goods in peacetime and transition to weapons production in wartime. These facilities would use AI-driven metallic additive manufacturing, so the same tooling on the same day could produce structural parts for submarines, ships, munitions, ground vehicles, aircraft, and spacecraft. The aim is to avoid long capital investments when switching products and to prune years off the current acquisition cycle. That proposal attacks the root problem: time and scale. The People's Republic of China can scale and field systems quickly. The U.S. acquisition system often struggles to deliver on time and on budget. A CRMN would compress the interval between need and supply, letting the Pentagon prototype, iterate, and ramp up manufacturing far faster than today's norms. In practical terms, a damaged ship, a munitions shortfall, or a sudden demand for specialized parts could be addressed weeks or months sooner than under current procedures. The same commercial lines that make plane parts or industrial goods in peace would, under prearranged plans, shift to wartime production without new factories being built from scratch. Do these weapons and factories actually change anything? Yes, they shift the calculus, not the reality that war is costly and dangerous. Faster, more flexible production reduces scarcity, blunts an opponent's ability to strangle supplies, and gives commanders more options. If your adversary expects to win by outproducing you, a rapid, AI-assisted manufacturing network undermines that strategy. But production speed alone won't deter escalation if forward logistics fail, alliances falter, or political leaders lack the will to act. Factories that flip to weapons production are only useful if munitions reach forward bases, if ports and airstrips remain open, and if allies coordinate movement and storage.